Hello and welcome back to the podcast. We are, first of all, dry January is over. We have a little bit of drinks for this episode that we made in our bonus content. We made some Valentine's Day cocktails. So go check that out on Patreon if you want. And we are also in our original set.
I know it feels kind of weird to be back filming in this space.
It's also a full circle moment because I'm wearing the actual exact
You
outfit
are.
I wore for
I
our
thought
very
about
first
that.
episode. So a little interesting full circle moment we have going on here today.
Wild. So much has changed.
Yeah, and we're back. It feels so weird to be back in the original set.
I kept saying that while we were setting it things up in here. It feels like the space is bigger, less pink than I remembered it to be. Do I got sugar on my
Yeah, you
lips?
got it.
Oh
You got it.
no. It's just very bizarre. Feels like it's been such a long time since we've been in here.
Well, it's been a year. Yeah, a year.
A very
So
long year.
you're back from the studio. No longer there. Goodbye. RIP
R.I.P.
to the studio. But yeah, I'm excited to be back. Especially during the winter. Like driving to and from
The
the studio is
studio.
kind of sketchy.
Yeah,
Neither
it was.
neither one of us arguably are the best drivers.
No.
So it's a risk every time we would go film this podcast. So
And it's just cold. I swear it's the coldest winter we've had in a very long time. I do not remember it being this cold. I feel like in past winters I've said, it's really not that bad. Like I remembered it being colder last year.
not anymore.
It's all caught up to me now. I think I need a new winter jacket. I've been
You
using
need
this.
one of those heated ones we spoke about.
We do need to invest in one of those because
I
my
thought you
jacket's
bought
not
one after that episode because you sent me
I
the
did send you.
Amazon link and I
I
was like, oh,
did.
she's buying this for sure.
Well, then I saw a cropped heated vest, but I didn't feel like I'd get the most use out of that. My thought process initially with that was I could wear it under any jacket, but then
No,
I
you're
I
not.
used some rationality. Probably won't do that. But I definitely need a new jacket.
I agree, but I'm getting weather confused. I don't know. I feel like I'm all over the place.
You have been all over the place. Where were you this weekend? I mean,
Well,
we were
Well, I
both.
just we went to the game in San Fran.
And how was that?
So depressing, honestly. Like the first half of the game, it was just like the highest high. We were jumping around, booking our stuff for the Super Bowl, like just ready, fully
Bro,
committed to go.
I
And
feel like I ruined it because I feel like got my hopes up too high during the first half. I was like, damn, thank God I took off Monday after the Super Bowl because this is really happening. We're really going to the Super Bowl.
yeah, I was genuinely like, the conversation was like, okay, we need to make our plans for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And then, do I have a sprinkle on my lip?
you kind of do now. You just got it.
Okay. Yep.
You're good.
Delicious. Um, but yeah, no, our conversation was literally like, we need to plan for this. How are we gonna get there? What
Yeah,
are we
like
doing?
what's.
The logistics of everything. And then as soon as we just started dropping the ball,
Bro,
literally and
literally.
metaphorically, we
It was
dropped the
so
ball.
bad. It was. I couldn't believe what I was. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing in the first half in such a good way because I thought we were going to crush the
Oh,
49ers.
like a blowout. Yeah.
I was in awe. I was texting you. I was like, we are going to crush them.
It was weird vibes being at an away game though.
Really.
Like I don't love it. And I don't know if I would want
I
to
don't think
do
I've
that.
ever been to an away game where I've really been invested in the teams. I've gone to baseball games in Chicago where
Yeah, but
I'm not
you're not
invested,
invested. Yeah.
but not in the case where I would cry if the team lost, in theory. I did do. I bawled my eyes out. Not
I
bawled, but I did cry.
I was like in shock in the moment.
You were
Like
so much more positive seeming than I was.
I wasn't it wasn't over until it was over for
I mean,
me.
I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves. You were there in the suite and things were going great and then not so great.
Well, in the first half, we were all excited, all planning our thing, and then and honestly, like we were right by like a lot of 49ers fans and they were like kind of minding their own business. But then as soon as they
Mm.
started winning in that second, not even winning, just tying us, the level of cockiness just went up so much with everyone around us. And I was getting so pissed. Like,
Because they were probably a little quiet before then.
I mean, they were still, it was a loud stadium.
Was it?
Yes. Very, very, very loud.
I feel like nothing will compare to, just from watching these past few games at home, the game against the Rams when we were at
Yes.
home. You could almost not hear the announcers at some point.
Like through the TV.
Through the TV. So now these games, these past two, have felt a little more quiet.
Well, being down, like in the main crowd was so loud. Like everybody there was so loud. But
Dang.
it was kind of loud on both sides. Like obviously
Mhm.
they were louder. There was way more like
There's a
49ers
lot of
fans.
blue, though.
But there were some times, especially in the first half when we were doing really well, you could hear the Lions fans.
Didn't you say they were
yelling.
chanting Jared Goff?
Yes.
Everybody was last weekend,
Yes.
from the Lions to the Pistons to a high school cheer competition. Everyone was chanting Jared Goff.
Yeah, at the Red Wings game.
It
like
was
every
a
single
weird
game in
electricity
Detroit
in the city.
and Michigan was getting those chants. And it was like there it was like that. You could hear even when, like how you're supposed to get loud when they're trying to make when they're on offense. Like there were times where you could hear the Lions fans getting loud to try to mess up their thing, but it's still like it was once it flipped at the half, it was hard to be around the other fans without getting pissed. Like I was like, this is just,
that would be so unfortunate.
and I was getting mad too because I'm like, they've gone more than any other team. Like you can't just be happy for us.
Yeah.
Like you can't just let us have this. I was
Oh,
getting very upset, but we stayed until almost the end. It was like their last
drive.
And we were like, if they get this, like we
should
get out
Yeah.
of here. Because also we knew that like the fans were gonna start being like obnoxious.
even more obnoxious.
Yeah, and so we were like, all right, that's it. Like we're gonna get in a fight here if we don't get out of here.
Oh, for sure.
But that we still had a very close ending score. Like
kind of. There was so
what do you
much.
mean? 31-34 is very close.
Yes, but I just didn't know what we were gonna do in those last 2 minutes. I mean, yeah, we scored. But then I was like, what about the rest of the points? I don't know how.
How did we get those other ones?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone around me just, because I watched it with Brian and then Brian's parents. And Brian and his dad were just like, they kept like, I don't know. That was very depressing vibes that they were like mumbling like strategy and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what do you mean strategy? What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It just also wasn't the best situation because for Ravens and I'm drawing KC,
Chiefs, yeah.
like everyone wanted Ravens because it was again kind of like an underdog story.
Everyone wanted the
We
underdog
didn't get
Super
that,
Bowl.
and then everyone wanted Lions because again, like that underdog story, we haven't had it, and then
I feel
it didn't
depressed
happen
about it. Like I genuinely felt so sad. I went into the office the next day and I didn't want anyone to talk about it. I didn't want to hear anyone talk about it. They had sports on the TVs because we have TVs on our floor, and they just kept like showing clips of the Lions game. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. All these freaking reporters are just saying, yeah, 17-point lead and they lost it all in 8 minutes or whatever it was.
I just felt like it wasn't meant to be at that point. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't on our side. Whatever was
No.
going on wasn't on our side for whatever reason.
No.
But everyone was, although people were not happy that the Ravens didn't make it, people were also still happy though because Taylor Swift got to
I'm
go
happy. She's going to a
congratulate
Super
her.
Bowl in her rookie year.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. How do you win at everything?
I know.
That's crazy.
She is winning at life. And I mean,
Everything.
good for her. She got to go onto the field. She got to, have her Cinderella story moment with Travis. They kissed in front of everybody on the field. It was a very big deal. Honestly, I saw clips of it where you could hear audio of them speaking, and it almost sounds like him saying, like, thanks so much for always, like, showing up for me, and her saying, like, this is the happiest I've ever been. And
Aw.
I don't know. I've just been emotional this week following the loss of the Lions. So seeing clips like that, I'm just like, man, at least someone's happy right now because
Good for them.
it's not us.
Yeah. Well, no, now I have such a grudge against the 49ers.
No, honestly,
it feels personal. Like, I didn't really care if the Kansas City Chiefs won, but now I just want them to
I want them
because,
to crush the
yes.
49ers. No, I'm rooting for the Chiefs, hands down. I hope they win. I hope all the Brads and the Chads are just so annoyed that Taylor Swift is like on the field for a Super Bowl win. And you know what? I hope she just smiles and waves and they
Smile and
go
wave,
and cry,
boys.
especially the 49ers fans, because I hate them now. Like, I hate their team.
It's just so frustrating that seeing everybody still celebrate as hard as they were, which if that was our team, we'd be doing the same thing.
We'd be
But
twice as
seeing
loud.
them celebrate so much, I'm like, screw you, man.
Yeah.
You've had
Don't put this in our
How many
face.
times have you got to do this celebration?
And we were
haven't
America's
gotten
team.
that.
We still are America's team.
And
I've
we're
said that all
going
season.
we will be back.
Next season, we are going back to the championship and we are going to the Super Bowl. I know I said that last season, but I have full faith, full confidence in Dan Campbell that we're going to go back. Bless his poor heart. Like, people were being mean on the internet about him, and I would run through a wall for that man. I swear.
I understood the frustration because it was just such a small, like 3 points. There were multiple times where we almost had those 3 points. So I understood the frustration of people, but also this is our team. This is what we've been doing this whole season, and it's worked.
It has worked.
So why would we change it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And if we
It
would
just
have
so
gotten
happened
the
it
kicks,
didn't.
people would have said we should have gone for
Yes.
the touchdown.
It would have been a different narrative if it would have
Of course.
worked. It would have been, oh my God, that was a genius move.
Dan Campbell's the GOAT.
But
the
it just
Chads
so
and the Brads
happened
saying
that
that.
for this situation. But we're going to be back and we're going to be better than ever.
Oh, heck yeah, we are. Heck yeah, we are.
I saw this too, which this was funny actually. So we talked about Christian Juszczyk before
That we have.
for her making her jackets, which by the way, I did make my own jacket. No, it does not compete at all with the level of
but it was pretty good.
professionalism.
I was
that
very
she
impressed.
makes herself with, which I honestly, I just love a good DIY. Like I just
You
did
do.
it for that. I was like, you know what? Let me add one more thing that I have to do
To your plate.
before I
no worries,
leave.
no problem.
But I had fun making it, so I don't care. It was kind of wild though. I had to pull out my sewing machine, which is
I don't even know that you still had your sewing machine.
it
I've
really
never seen it
hasn't-
come out in this household, I don't think.
I used it once for Halloween, like 2 years ago.
Oh, I remember.
I made my top.
Your half and half costume.
Yes, I made my top. But other than that, it really hasn't seen the light of day since 2020. Because that was when I originally
You were peak
learned how to
sewing machine girl.
Yes, I learned how to use it, and I was making the face masks. And then really since then, I haven't used it. And I still, let me be clear, everyone in the comments was like, this isn't DIY. Like, I don't know how to use a sewing machine.
What do you mean DIY? You did it yourself.
I know, but like for people.
Who said that to you?
I was not offended because also I agree. Like when I had to pull out the sewing machine, I was like, this is it. Like, this jacket's not going to work out.
I would have hot
But-
glued that shit right.
No, so I did have to use hot glue to keep them
To stay in place?
before I sewed it
I
because
see.
the first letter I did went sideways because I didn't I just was holding it and like I was so proud I finished it and I
Aw.
held it up and I was like, oh my
no.
God, it's sideways. So I just ended up putting the whole thing on a slant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely not the level of pro, but we did see, so Christian Juszczyk was on her husband's on the 49ers. So she was at the game and a bunch of people who wear her stuff were at the game. And I got so angry because at the end she posted
This
a video.
really, really grinded my gears.
Solidified our anger. She flipped over the inside and it said Super Bowl bound.
They
They knew
made
they
me
were just
so
gonna beat us,
mad.
and it made me so angry.
So
And I'm like, my
clever to
jacket's-
have.
My jacket's better, but like really, it's not. But I was
You
just
should
so
have put that
angry.
in your jacket for good luck for the Lions. Super Bowl next
I can
time.
barely sew as it
Next
is.
time.
No, and I kept saying to him, like, literally, you know how many times when I was doing this jacket, the machine would just like not like error, and I would just unplug it
said
and plug
that
it
to
back
you?
in. Oh yeah. Like I was
I
acting
didn't
like it
know they
was a
could do
freaking
that.
computer. Like I would just unplug it and plug it back in
Turn
until
off,
it
turn it
worked.
back on. That's what the tech team say to do.
But yeah, interesting times. I enjoyed making it.
Dang.
But yeah, I saw her post that and I was like, wow. One, I should have done something like that on mine. Not that I know how. But two, I
It
got so
really was
angry.
just like the salt on top of the wound.
Oh, 100%.
I was like, dang.
100%.
Good for them though.
No, like I said, if it was our team, we'd be like, oh, F you guys are
Mhm.
going, like, let's go. But because it's the other way around, we're salty, and that's
No,
fine.
and I'm just never going to like the 49ers. Like I hope we play them again and I hope we crush them one day. And I'm going to root for their downfall next
Every
season.
time they play.
Every time they play, I'm going to be very salty against them.
No, I don't know how I feel.
I'm still sad.
Today's episode is brought to you by Factor Meals. As someone who's been on the go lately with no time to pre-plan meals or grocery shop, I swear by Factor Meals. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day easy, even when you're crunched for time. Skip the mess of meal prep and shopping with Factor's pre-prepared, chef-crafted meals. Factor meals are 100% ready to heat and eat, so there's no shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. Plus, you can choose from over 35 dietitian-approved options per week with keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie options, and more. Get started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. Head to factormeals.com/JALS50 and use code JALS50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. That's code JALS50 at factormeals.com/JALS50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. Thank you to Factor Meals for sponsoring today's episode. What else happened this week? Coachella announced and started selling their tickets. The slowest ticket sales in a decade.
Bro, it's so bad. And there's multitude of reasons that are allegedly the why behind why tickets are so slow, most of which are potentially the headliners. I don't see why it would be the headliners. It's Doja Cat, Tyler the Creator, and Lana Del Rey. Oh, you good? We saw Lana Del Rey. Oh, what? Oh, not the wrong pipe. Well, Lana Del Rey was incredible at Lollapalooza. So I don't really think that ticket sales would correlate with that. Maybe, because I mean, at one time there was Beyonce and just insane performers there. Not that they're not insane. I just don't necessarily think they're at Beyonce's level of a
I
performance.
think we've always said, like, we're not really interested in Coachella.
No, we're not. And I think that a big contributing factor is the influencer culture.
Well, there's so many other options now for festivals that
Just
I feel
are
like everyone's
more
just started taking advantage
feasible.
of those because, yeah, like they're not as expensive. It's
Lala is
not
so
as
much more doable than a Coachella.
it's not as like hard to. I don't
Coachella,
know.
from what I've heard, is hard to navigate. Like
Yeah, it seems
finding
difficult.
lodging that is reasonably priced in that area. And I know you can do camping, which all about that. That would be fun. However, if you don't want to do camping, getting in and out of that festival is allegedly a nightmare. And you have every influencer and their mom running around treating this just like the content house of I don't know what. And I think
It pretty much is.
it's done the opposite of what you would expect influencers to do. It's driven people away. And on top of that, I've seen a few TikToks that have said that festivals allegedly are a millennial thing and a millennial trend. So Gen Z isn't necessarily interested in going to festivals like
I don't
that.
really believe that.
I don't know if I believe that either.
I feel like Coachella is just kind of sums up how all of like I think it's how people feel about like LA in general. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just an influencer thing. It's like who's who, you got who do you know here? Like
Oh,
I think that's
not a
the
fan.
vibes. I don't know. Personally, I've just never been we have cool festivals that we don't have
So
to
cool.
do all that
I
for.
have sugar on my lips again.
I
No,
changed my
absolutely.
glass.
We have some great Midwestern music festivals.
We're just Midwestern at
And we're
heart.
just Midwestern, just good old Miss Red
Proper.
proper. We're just some good old proper gals put together and living life.
You don't need to do an accent because
We're not
apparently,
Midwest. That's not Apparently, we do have
we already talk with very strong Midwestern accents.
and I don't even know what that means. I guess, yeah.
It's the A.
I guess the country accent wasn't correct.
No, but every time
like
I post
Apple?
a video, people are like, "What accent is this?" I don't know. I thought it was
Dude,
none.
I thought it was
So,
none too. I thought that
personally-
the way we spoke was like baseline
I
normal.
think that's what
That it
everyone
represent
thinks, though.
nothing. 100%. But my like 4th grade brain could not comprehend that. I wanted a cool accent. I wanted to be Southern. I wanted to be British. I wanted to be something.
Dude, I still love I love Southern accents and I love British
They're so
accents.
fun.
Australian.
Bro, when I went to Arizona this past week, and multiple people thought that I was from somewhere in the South because I kept saying y'all. Apparently, y'all
It is a Southern thing.
it is a Southern thing.
But so is soda, and you said that recently. But I think
Yeah.
you need to get off TikTok. That's why.
I probably heard
You're
soda on
picking up-
TikTok.
yeah, you're picking
But
up
y'all,
things.
I've said for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Michigan." They go, "No, like, where are you from?" I was like, "Metro
Michigan.
Detroit." And they're like, "Oh." Crazy times.
Wild. What else happened this week? This Britney Spears song came out.
Bro,
Or,
this
no,
is-
I'm sorry.
What? No, it
No.
didn't come out. I was
No.
confused for a
Britney
minute.
Spears song didn't come out.
No,
It's
Justin
been
Timberlake's
out, but
song.
Justin Timberlake had a song called Selfish come out. So to be petty, Britney Spears fans went and started streaming her old song, Selfish, so that it would beat out his
And
on
who
the
conducted
charts.
this? It was just like a general consensus. I didn't get a memo. No memo was sent to me. And
Yeah, like where was this plan made?
I don't know. I never heard about the plan. And normally I feel like if there is a public fandom plan to overthrow something or to do something this petty, you would hear about it. But I didn't hear about it
Till after the fact.
until the numbers were done. She was number 1 and it wasn't even a song off the album. It was a bonus track for the album. It was a number 13 bonus track that fans I didn't even know Britney Spears had a song called Selfish until it topped the charts. But that's the level of petty that I aspire to be.
Well, she put out a thing apologizing.
Yeah, she's embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. She
Let
should
them
not be doing that. She
petty.
should stand tall and say, "So excited to see my song Selfish number 1 on the charts. Love y'all. Bye." That's the statement we needed. Not, "I love Justin Timberlake's new song, Selfish." No, you don't.
I guess I just can't tell what the sentiment is between them because remember last time when he did the Vegas thing and
Yeah.
she got pissed
Yeah.
and posted he said something like
He was being rude.
yeah and she
Blatantly
got mad.
rude.
And then now it's like oh
now
no,
it's
no,
like,
no,
"Oh, no,
don't.
no, we're cool."
So I don't know if they're cool or not. I can't get the vibes. To be
Yeah, we are
honest.
picking to be the better person now. No.
We don't want to be the better
I
person.
know. I never want to be the better person. Ugh.
Also with music though, I just saw this today actually.
Bro.
Universal Music Group is not renewing their licensing agreement with TikTok. So all artists that are under Universal Music Group
And it's a lot.
will be muted on TikTok, not just future videos, but like past videos. So if you used any songs from any artist from Universal Music Group, which is a lot, it will be muted. So you could go back on your page and you might find some of your videos just muted, even if it was just background music.
That's crazy. TikTok's just going to be silent as of tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel like they will eventually have to come to
some kind of agreement.
But for now,
They're making a statement.
yeah. For now, it's gonna be silent
It's going to
videos.
be pretty quiet.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
I don't like it.
I was trying to think if I had videos with like
Music.
songs. I feel like I use more of sounds. I don't know.
Right. I think you do more trending sounds and voiceovers.
Yeah, but I don't know.
So you
if
should be
people
okay.
do.
We'll see.
I guess we'll find out.
And Elmo was trying to find
Yeah.
out what everyone's, state of being was. Elmo tweeted, Elmo is just checking in. How's everyone doing? Um, a seemingly simple, friendly tweet probably makes many tweets like this, but for some reason, this tweet went viral with just over 137 million views in
That
24
is,
hours.
it's so funny because did you just see SNL did a skit
About
and it
Elmo?
was like, no, but it was this. It was the premise of you're okay, like you're
Uh-huh.
fine. But if someone keeps asking you, like, are you okay? You're
You're
just
just
not
you're
okay.
gonna break
You're gonna
down.
trauma
No,
dump.
yeah.
And that's what people started doing to this tweet. Like Elmo
Poor
was like,
Elmo.
how's everybody doing? And everyone's like, well, now that you asked, actually,
Terrible.
terrible.
Somebody was like, every Monday I look forward to Friday, and I know that that will be my life for the rest of forever. Yeah. And I was like, did he stutter? Did he lie?
Oh my God.
But even the Detroit Free Press, they retweeted with "We've been better, Elmo," and I felt that deep in my soul.
It's so true though. Why does that always happen? Like if someone's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" And you're like, "Oh no, I'm good." Like, "But are you okay?"
No, I'm
And then
not.
suddenly you're not.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask too many
Yes.
times.
Ask.
The answer changes depending on
Yes.
the
The amount of
amount of
times you
times you're
ask.
asked.
Oh, that's so bad. But then Elmo tweeted again following his initial ask and said, "Wow, good, glad to." What did he say? I should have screenshotted and put it on our notes. But basically saying, Elmo learned today that it's important to check on my friends. Like, I'll be checking in again soon. I'm like, Elmo, not sure things are gonna get much better between then and now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Elmo was on Twitter.
Apparently, Elmo is an active user on Twitter. Frequently checks in the morning, at night. Hello from Elmo.
Are
Good morning
you
from
even
Elmo.
on Twitter? Which, by the way, it's X.
Oh yeah, sorry, man. X. In my own Twitter, I have a Twitter account.
But you don't use it.
I don't use it. I
You
follow.
just creep around
Yeah,
the
no.
shadows.
I follow like 3 people, and sometimes Brian will send me things on X. He is a big X user. He doesn't have
Really?
social media,
Oh yeah, I think we've talked
period,
about this on here actually.
but he gets his sports updates on X exclusively. So I follow him, and I think I follow Marvel, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't do.
No, I'm not. I'm just not
Like again,
interested in
I
it.
I have an account, but I don't use it, so
Oh, you do?
I don't like
Oh, you do.
promote it. Like
Right.
I've never posted on it, and I don't really plan to. I think I had to make it because somebody had some fake account with like a bunch of followers, and they
No,
were
I
doing brand
remember this.
deals, and the only way
They
to get
did
it,
brand
yes,
deals.
they were
Good
doing
for
brand deals,
them.
like scammy ones too. And I was like, oh my God, you're making me look terrible. Um, so, but I think the only way to get it taken down was if I made an account.
Mm-hmm.
So I like made one, but then I just never
I see.
did anything about it. Oh, and no, and I just found out some person has a Facebook account of me with like a lot of followers and
For
posts
real.
like they're me
What are they up
regularly.
to?
Whatever I'm up to, apparently.
I want to look into this.
Oh, I'll send you the screenshot. I just found it this past week.
Really?
It came up on my like
Like
I have a
suggested friends?
yes, like I have a private Facebook that I literally don't use. I had to make it in college because when you're in a sorority, you have to
Main line
have
of
a Facebook.
communication.
Yeah. And so I don't even use it, but once in a while I'll open it to see, I don't know, who's pregnant and whatever. And all of a sudden I see me and I'm like, that's crazy. I just posted that on Instagram.
No way.
And then like it's got a bunch of
Wait,
interaction.
so they're
and,
just living it up like they're you.
yep, living it up, having a good old time.
You know?
I didn't see any brand deals. I mean, I guess at least that's good, but
That's wild.
it's weird too because sometimes they talk in
First
third
person?
person.
Third person? Oh,
Or what would
third
it be?
third
Yes,
person
third
is how
person.
Elmo talks. Elmo is just checking in.
Yes. Like they'll be like,
Haley's just checking in. How's everyone
yes,
doing?
daughter of, like, and they just have like weird bio and stuff. I'm like, I would never say that.
That's
Please,
so uncomfortable.
please
I'm
erase
so
this.
sorry.
No, it's not that serious, but I am gonna try. Here's the thing though, they're probably gonna do the same thing where they're gonna be like, oh, well, unless you make a public account, we can't
Do
take it
anything
down.
about it?
Yeah.
That's so messed up. I remember that when it came to Twitter because I feel like for the longest time in your Instagram bio it said, I do not have a Twitter.
I know. Well, because I used to get pissed because like people just tweet weird stuff too.
Yeah, I don't like
Like,
that.
what are you up to?
I had
Are
a
they like
small fake account
resharing?
once of
They'll like
me
reshare things
that
that
are
like
inappropriate.
no, but like that like my dad will post or something. I'm like, I would
Oh.
never reshare that. Like, please stop.
Dang.
But yeah, I don't know. It's wild out there.
No, there was a fake Twitter of me at once upon a time, or maybe a fake Instagram, maybe both. And they would just tweet. It had to be on Twitter. Just tweet like outlandish, inappropriate statements. And I was concerned because if so, if like I was applying for a job and they did a background check and were
They
like,
would think
look,
that was
they would
you.
think that that was me, and it was in fact not me. So I think I got it taken down. I don't know. We'll look into it. It
Hopefully it
might
is. I
still
mean,
be
you have a
there.
job, so
Yeah, no, I've
they
had
don't think they think.
no, they don't think it's me. They know me. They know I'm, not like that. I'm pretty quiet. We just had a
Mhm.
talk and I forget what meeting this was today about how we used to have the shuttle system for work. So where we work, we would like park out like further away from our buildings, and there was a shuttle that would take you like to
The
the buildings
building.
you work in and then take you back. And thankfully that system has gone away. Now we have parking much closer to our buildings. But when that was a thing, I was an intern at the company, and you would wait, but there was no like there was bus stops, but it wasn't like line up here with little stanchions or anything. You just gathered in a general spot, and then buses would come and people would flock to the bus. So even if I was the only person there when I first got to the stop, and then people would come afterwards,
They would run on.
they would run on, and there'd be times where I could not get on the bus. And I would have to wait for another one, and it would happen again, and then I would just end up Ubering. It was
And then
terrible.
so what? Your Twitter account would tweet F those people?
No,
And
that
it was
actually had
secretly
no
you?
correlation with the
Oh.
Twitter. But I said that I was like, yeah, I basically got bullied when I was like, because I don't have a aggressive bone in my body. And everyone was like,
Oh.
dang, that's so unfortunate,
I
Brittany.
know. I remember taking the buses at MSU and
Mm,
same situation. Like you
people
could
would
be
just
the
flock.
yes, like you could be the first person at the bus stop,
Terrible.
but everybody as soon as the bus pulled up is trying to run on. Especially because I feel like it's cold a lot of times, so like
Yeah.
everybody's
Nine
trying to
times
just
out of
run on and
10.
get warm. Which there was always room for everybody, but my anxiety would go through the roof. Like, what if they close the door on me? What if they
Same.
don't see me
Same.
out here?
Well, there wasn't always room on our work buses, and it was messed up. It was so messed up. My gosh, I do not miss the buses. But one thing I do miss about the bus is the drama. You would hear so much work drama. People would be pissed coming either into the office or leaving.
Really?
Yeah, and then they would just air out all their business, and I would sit with like my headphones or AirPods in.
Pretend you're listening.
I'd pretend like I was listening to something, but I was listening to their conversations.
Kind of smart. What else went on this past week? Oh, I did see this.
Did you?
Charlotte Tilbury PR boxes with missing
Always
lipsticks.
something. And no one knows if
It was on
on
purpose.
purpose or if it was a genuine mistake. But I feel as if that many lipsticks are missing, how is it not on purpose?
Well, they already had. So if you didn't see this, Charlotte Tilbury sent out a bunch of PR boxes of their new lipsticks, and
The
some.
Hollywood Beauty lipsticks.
Okay.
Excuse you.
Did you get some? Like Jesus.
No, I wish. If you're out there, I like lipstick.
And not the missing ones.
Not the missing kind.
No. And so they sent these out, but then some influencers had multiple lipsticks missing from their PR box, and then some got the whole thing. But it did seem like the people they knew would post it got the ones with missing. Like, didn't you think so? Like Michaela,
Yeah, hers were
whatever.
missing.
Like, she's always in some kind of little scandal drama, so like they knew she would post that.
Like,
And
oh, my
cause something.
lipsticks are missing.
And they had a whole thing, a whole response planned out of like almost like a murder mystery, like who was here at the time, what
Wait,
employees.
shut up.
Yeah, they had a response like what employees were here at the time of the shipping and who was there. Like they were trying to make like a little murder mystery out
I
of it.
saw
In
a
response.
TikTok about something about like the missing thing and all this stuff. And I thought the TikToker was just really running with what had happened to the lipsticks. I was like, well, this is a little dramatic, but okay. It was genuinely their marketing. Then they had
think
to have
so,
been
yeah.
missing or not missing, but
Planned.
planned.
I think so too.
Or they just had somebody that really thought on the fly quite quickly.
to like
Map all
squash
that
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it seem like it was on purpose.
Who's to say? We'll probably never know, but that's cool.
What else? You put this in here.
I did. I'm a big fan of Groundhog's Day. It's something that I personally choose to celebrate each year.
What do you do to celebrate it
I
normally?
I think about it. I've tuned into the live
You just
stream.
think about it. Well, to celebrate, I normally think,
I
and
I,
I feel pretty good.
I
When
get really excited about Phil.
Do you believe him? You believe that the
Oh yeah.
groundhog thing is accurate?
Yeah, and PETA does not. PETA's highly against Phil.
Well, PETA's knows more about animals than
They do.
we do.
However, I know in my heart and soul that Phil is
right.
correct. Phil, and I looked up some fun facts, so let me read those off for the group. Fun fact number 1, according to the Groundhogs Club members, because there is a club I wish to be a part of, there's only been one Phil, and he is predicted since 1887, which means Phil is 137 years old in 2024. Fun fact number 2, from 1887 to 2023, Phil predicted long-lasting winters 107 times, while only predicting early springs 20 times. And fun fact number 3, for the past 3 years, he has predicted 6 more weeks of winter. So we're really hoping for that early spring this year. However, PETA did write an open letter to the Groundhogs Club in Pennsylvania, which was encouraging the president of said club to remove the animal from the celebration. And they did say that they would present the group with a giant coin to flip in replacement of Dear Phil.
Okay, but can I say this?
Yes.
If it were just as simple as a coin flip, that would be 50-50.
Right.
And Phil is not predicting
Phil is not
50-50.
50-50. No, he is not. Great point out there.
I was going to ask you this, though, and I don't see this in the notes. But what percentage of times has Phil been right?
We don't speculate about Phil's accuracy. What Phil says is basically the word of God.
Okay.
But PETA thinks that Phil is an individual who, although intelligent and self-aware, cannot predict the weather, which I felt was blatantly disrespectful to Phil. Even if he could, keeping him or any other animal imprisoned for cruel annual gimmick. I don't think he's cruelly imprisoned. I don't know if that's something that's been stated. I like to think that Phil is well taken care of and probably the best fed, the best, well-being that a groundhog could be.
Yeah.
He is 100.
I think we're making assumptions about how he's taken care of.
He is 137 years old. Do you think that he's being imprisoned and cruelly treated if he has lived that long? He has got the best of the best. One could only hope to live the life that Phil currently lives. If I could live to be 137, he only has to work one day a year. They only put him to work one day a year. That is nothing but cruel. I mean, that is not cruel. I don't know how to reverse what I just said. It's the opposite. That is, I think.
Well, I think we just need to actually know, how is he?
How's he doing?
Good.
You know what? Elmo should talk to Phil. And then we'd get to the bottom of it.
Let's put Elmo and Phil in contact. They'll work it out.
And I just truly think if this man's is only working one day a year and he's living this long, let him be.
He's not actually 137.
He is 137. Yes, he is.
No, he's not. It's like when people get a new dog and they say, oh, it's still Roxy, and it's really the third one.
It's still Phil.
No, it's not.
Phil lives on forever.
It can't be. But it did kind of freak me out knowing that from 1887 to now is only 137. 1887, if you would have asked me, that's 500 years ago. At least.
Easy 500 years ago.
At least 500 years ago.
1887, they're churning butter and sharing bath water.
Yes. There's no way that 1887 is only 137 years. Someone was alive back then for sure. Someone's lived this long.
I mean, if Phil did, anyone can do it. But, I mean, here's the thing. I don't have a lot on my bucket list, but I think I would say seeing Phil predict the weather might be up there on like top 3. You know how hype I would get for that? Crazy amounts of
You would
hype.
think about it?
I think if they brought Phil to Coachella, they would have sold out much quicker.
Shut up. No way.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
that's just my take.
I do enjoy a good Groundhog's Day prediction,
Do you?
but I will be honest, I don't think it hasn't been that accurate, I don't think. But it's no problem. It's fine.
No,
No, we
no
still love
problem
Phil.
just disrespecting him.
No.
No.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody has those days, but Phil knows what he's talking about. Isn't that the next word?
Everybody
Something.
gets that way.
I don't know if
Okay.
you've noticed, I've slowly been just eating the
Icing.
frosting and
I don't know if
sprinkles
you've
off
noticed,
mine.
but mine's almost gone.
Interesting. I'll work on that while you tell the first shady story.
All right. Shady story number 1, which, by the way, Brittany picked these out, so I have no clue what I'm getting into here.
Perfect.
Shady
An
story.
ideal state. I picked this first one. I'll give it some context. This first one I picked because it felt like something we would do when we
I'm
were.
so terrified now. Okay, great. Can't wait to hear. All right. Shady story number 1. So when I was 11, my dad wasn't home and I was really hungry. So I made some ramen noodles. As soon as I was just about to eat them, my dad pulled in the driveway and I didn't know what to do. So I poured them into a strainer and shoved them into a drawer. I was so nervous he was going to find them, but things were going pretty good. He hadn't found them yet and dinner was almost ready. Then he notices the water is boiled in our kettle, so he asked if anyone used and everyone said no, of course. But I was lying. But I thought I would still make it, and then he goes to grab a Ziploc bag and he finds the noodles. And just think of it from his perspective. You got home from a 12-hour shift, you're making dinner, and you find ramen noodles in a strainer, still warm. Was probably really weird. And then he basically interrogated us all until we're all laughing really hard because it's pretty funny. And still to this day, no one knows it was me. I know the story wasn't shady, but I thought it was funny, so.
I mean, that's hilarious.
Hid
I
the
can
ramen noodles?
absolutely picture you trying to bake ramen noodles and hiding them.
I made ramen noodles so often. There would be no reason to hide them. Everyone knew I was making ramen noodles. I was making ramen noodles a lot.
Ramen noodles, but also buttered noodles.
Oh
I
my
think
God,
we
yes.
lived off of buttered noodles.
Hot take though. Do you crunch up the ramen noodles so they're in small pieces, or do you leave them whole?
I think we crunched them.
We used to crunch them up.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had them whole. Crunched up was the way to go.
I'm pretty sure now, though, whenever I see them on TikTok, they're the full.
But also, I think some people strain them and like don't eat them with the broth. And I feel like I remember us eating them with the broth.
No.
Did we strain them?
No, this is what we would do. This was the way. This
I
was the way
remember
my
the
mom
butter
showed
noodles
us.
better.
You would cook the ramen noodles, but you boil the water, you break them up.
Yeah,
real
that was the
small.
most fun part, was
Key
breaking
part.
them up. They had to
But
be
you
like
can't
tiny
pop
chunks.
the package because you
No.
don't want the noodles flying
No,
out.
that was bad.
So you do that. Then you cook them. Then you strain them. Then you add a shit ton of butter. Butter.
No, more
Stir
butter
them
the
all
better.
up. Add the packet. Add the seasoning packet.
So good.
So good. In college, I ate ramen noodles so much
Did you?
freshman year. Yes.
Ew.
Yes. For no reason.
I ate a lot of Easy Mac. Like Easy Mac all the time.
Oh yeah, those two, the little like individual containers. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah,
Easy Mac honestly sounds really good right now.
we did have Panera right before.
We did. That's been our
But
new
I'm not
favorite.
judging you. It's just.
Oh,
I
I
want
feel
Easy Mac. I would rather have ramen noodles than
Easy Mac right
Easy
now.
Mac. Yeah, I also haven't had that since I think
Since we were
freshman year of
since college. Yeah, I couldn't tell
Been
you
a
the
long
last time I
time.
had an Easy Mac either.
But here's another hot take: beef or chicken flavor.
I feel like when we were younger, beef
Beef.
for
For
sure.
sure.
But I feel
Why
like
did-
right now, chicken.
What?
I don't know.
I would eat
We did
either.
beef because that was the red pack, and chicken
Yeah.
was orange. We were beef girls. Shady story number 2. In college, I had a class where attendance was mandatory, and if you missed more than 3 times, you got an automatic F. A girl who I knew growing up would sit by me and one day started telling me stories about my then boyfriend cheating on me. They were all lies, and we confronted her and proved that she was wrong. I told her no worries, no hard feelings. she was going to miss class, she would ask me to sign up and get her credit. And I said, absolutely. But I never did. I got an A and she got an F. Sucka. I loved it. Just the right amount of petty.
Yeah. I feel like that's perfect pettiness level. You love the petty stuff.
I do. The stories just like bring me life in a way that I feel as if justice has been served. And sometimes karma, karma always finds its way to who it needs to find itself to, but sometimes karma needs some help. And, the
Karma
opportunity
needs
was
some help.
yes. And the opportunity was presented and she went about this flawlessly.
Honestly, I was the kind of person in school, if someone was cheating off me, absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
No, no.
No, not
I
that.
wasn't that nice. Like, I was
No.
not the kind of person like, oh, yeah, no problem. You
Yeah,
can look
no,
at my
not
thing.
no
I was like,
problem.
no, I studied hard for this. You're out of here.
I used to feel some type of way about in middle school when people would be in lunch copying off of others' papers just because they had the next class or whatever when it was due. And I felt like that was wrong. And I remember telling my mom, that is wrong. I don't know if I ever did
Do
anything
you
about
remember,
it.
too? I wonder if they still use these, but like the cardboard dividers
Yes.
made out of literal boxes.
Yes. In
I think
Mrs.
they
Grab's
still,
class
yeah.
specifically, she had the big, nice ones. And then sometimes people would draw on the inside of them.
Do you think they still use those?
I don't know. I feel like school has changed a lot since
I
we were
know.
there.
I know. It's definitely got to be weird now.
They don't have textbooks, I'm pretty sure now. I think everything's on iPads and Chromebooks.
No, see, that would, even still, if I was, like, I know in college even.
Did you use books in college?
Oh,
Like the
absolutely.
textbook version?
I have to be
physically
physically
have the
touching
book.
it. Yeah.
Interesting.
And same thing with like writing notes. Like I would write notes,
Mm-hmm.
but then I would have to write them out or I won't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But yeah, I know. Even like books and writing, like calendars. Like I use my calendar on my phone, but then I take it
And write
and
everything
write it on an
down.
actual
And
calendar.
you need both.
Because I need
I
to
also
see
have
it.
both.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've always been that way.
I love writing things down. Just sometimes I'm too slow at writing. I'm a slow reader and I'm a slow writer. So in college, it was really hard to keep up with this. Even in, I feel like middle school, high school, I was always the kid who they would skip to the next slide instead of raising my hand and asking if they could go back to another slide. I would just leave it and never get the information because they didn't send out slides like that in high school or middle school. In college, you could get the deck,
whole thing,
which was nice.
They should do that.
They
Maybe
should
they
have
do.
did
I
that.
mean, now
They
they might.
probably
You
do
don't even-
now.
yeah.
Because now they have things like Blackboard and
No,
whatnot.
I would write the notes really fast as we were in the class
and
in
then
high school,
rewrite them nicely.
and then go home and rewrite
See,
them.
that's what I couldn't stand was having my notes look messy. So I would take and you know how slow I write? Really slow. I read so slow too.
Right.
If someone shows me their phone to read a text message, they'll start to pull it. No.
Come back.
I'm on line 2.
Oh my god. All right. Shady story number 3. I feel like this is more of a shady confession than a shady story. This was in 2021. I was dating my now husband at the time, although I still had a crush on this guy from my church group. I thought me and the church group guy had something going on, although he never made a move and my husband beat him to it. My husband and I had just started dating and things were very steamy all the time, if you know what I mean. We had recorded a dirty video one night, and the very next day I had a church group meeting. So shameful, I know. The meeting was at Starbucks. As I arrived, I was greeting and hugging my friends around a table. I saw my church crush coming over to meet me as well. He was waiting his turn to hug me when I saw him make a weird face at me. I didn't realize that my phone had unlocked and the sexy video we made from the night before was playing. So as I was hugging my friends, my phone had the screen facing him, basically at eye level. Once I looked down at my phone and made the connection between his expression and my bare ass on the screen, I quickly locked it and turned that bitch face down on the table because I could definitely tell that he noticed. It was so embarrassing and the vibe was gone after that. I guess it turned out for the best. I married the guy in the steamy video and we're now expecting our first baby this summer. Although a little part of my brain still wonders if anything would have happened with the church guy if I wasn't such a whore. That's absolutely
That's
wild. I
so
did not expect
unfortunate.
that.
I didn't either when I was reading it. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
This is,
wild. That's like worst case scenario though, but also it makes me think of how every time I'm talking, I'll like check my phone to make sure I'm not calling somebody
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if you have that video on your phone, why are you having
I
it
don't
up
know.
right
And
before you walk into
right.
a
Was she
meeting?
watching it in her car on her way to Starbucks?
Maybe she was seeing how she looked. I don't
You
know.
know,
I mean, but
I maybe.
close out the tab before
Yes,
you go into
yes.
the place.
Make sure everything's gone.
No, but I'm always like that. It's actually funny because I was telling you, one of our friends actually, they weren't talking like shit or anything. They just accidentally left me a 3-minute voicemail of them telling a story,
Yeah.
and I was in the story, so it was
That's
kind of
so
funny,
funny.
but it wasn't anything bad. But it was just funny because like, what if it would
Thankfully.
have been? And they left me this 3-minute voicemail, and so after that, especially. I always check and make sure I'm not calling somebody 'cause I'm like, I don't need them hearing my conversation.
Absolutely not. No, I've had people butt dial me before where you can kind of hear them talking and I will listen. I will not hang up on
Oh,
that
me
call
too.
because I want to know what's going on.
Yeah,
They
same.
could be doing anything. They could be at work. I don't know. Until I am determined if that is what's happened, it is the stars have aligned and some piece of information that I need to
Need to
hear
know.
is going to be said and I will not hang up the phone call.
I feel like I do the same thing.
Mhm. Gotta listen in.
We like want to do it. We want to catch other
We
people doing
do.
it, but like we don't want to be the people.
No, 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 no. If we were ever caught, nope.
Not that we
We
obviously
don't.
don't say anything shady ever.
No, I've
But
never
like
talked shit a day in my life. I am not petty
clip this
at all.
podcast together. um all right. Well, keep sending in your shady stories. That's it for today's episode. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.